Some of the points we need to discuss in this section are explaining when import and export policies are evaluated in relation to the learning and advertisement of prefixes. We're also going to talk about match criteria and actions for firewall filters and routing policies. We will discuss common match criteria in identifying the results of a route or packet with a given filter or policy. Then we will go over the configuration of some of these routing policies and firewall filters. First of all, we need to define some terms. When we talk about policy in regard to Junos, we are referring to a mechanism in the Junos policy framework that allows you to configure criteria against which something can be compared and an action that is then performed if the criteria is met. This is Juniper's definition. In other words, what it means is that a policy is something you configure with parameters to identify a condition, and when that condition is met, Junos does something. When we talk about routing policy and firewall filters, we are really talking about policies. Even though we call them firewall filters are still policies. Now, the purpose, configuration, and implementation of routing policies and firewall filters are different, but they both still fall into the same category of what a policy is. In regard to policy, when we talk about import and export, we're referring to how routes move between the routing protocols and the routing tables. When the Junos routing engine puts a route from a routing protocol into the routing table, we say that it is being imported, or that a route is importing into the routing table. When the Junos routing engine takes active routes from the routing table and sends a protocol advertisement, we say it is exporting routes from the routing table. So when a routing protocol sends a route advertisement out from its routing table, we say that it is exporting a route, and when another router receives the advertisement and installs that route into its routing table, we say that it has imported that route. When the route is advertised to another router, it is an export route. When a router receives the route advertisement and inserts that route into its routing table, it's an import route. Now, before we compare the policy elements of routing policies and firewall filters, let's talk a little bit about what these policy elements are.